Can you kind of like just set the scene with a bit of background on yourself and maybe like the team and like how you've got to this point?
Personally, I've been in crypto for like 4 or 5 years now. I got into crypto in like end of high school, early college, and I kind of wanted to start like doing AI stuff.
It must be like a strange opportunity now if you come through college or university and seeing everything that's happening.
I think the value of a college degree is kind of dropping a little bit. I think now, especially with AI and technology, like people have the tools to kind of build whatever they want. And yeah, I think like Web3 is just the market where like you can actualize that dream. And
what do you think, just like as a general thought around this shift, what's happening in the section of crypto and AI and everything that kind of comes within that?
I think that
this episode is brought to you by Sonic, the EVM Layer 1 platform that comes with sub-second confirmation times over 10,000 transactions per second and an average transaction cost of less than 1 cent. To learn more about the countless apps that are coming to Sonic, or about the 200 million S tokens available to those building and contributing to the Sonic ecosystem, head to soniclabs.com or follow them on X at 0xSonicLabs. Thank you to Sonic Labs for making this episode possible. So this is an episode with Jeffy, one of the co-founders of Zerebro. So if you have been paying attention to what is happening at the intersection of crypto and AI, Zerebro is at the very forefront of that. It's created a single, an EP, an album. It's got a record label that is all AI generated. It's creating its own frameworks for additional AI agents to be generated. This thing is probably one of the most interesting things in the space at the moment, and I can only see it getting more interesting as more people pick it up and develop on top of or adjacent to it. So stick around, enjoy the episode. Please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. I've been listening to the playlist, and I've been sending it the single, the EP, and the album, and I've been sending it to my friends who are kind of in the music industry. And I've been like, "What do you think about this?" and not telling them the backstory. And they've been like, "This is actually sick." And I was like, "Yeah, well, this is like the lore behind the album." And they're like, "No way." I'm like, "Yes, where your jobs are getting taken."
yeah. I feel like I've heard like a good amount of those stories now where like, you know, either people come across like organically or like people send it to their friends and don't tell them. And then it's just like you get the best reaction.
Is it had any I wouldn't be surprised if someone comes along and tries to like, I know you've got this like the Opium kind of label thing, but I can imagine there's a lot of people like scratching their head like trying to figure out how to sign Zerebro and like how do we milk this thing, and then you just like surprise it's it's this crazy model in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's even people that like know it's AI and they still want to sign it. Like we've talked to like some major record labels and stuff, and yeah, there's interest. So yeah, the music's good. The music's good, you know. So
it's incredible. I've got a few questions on that later, but yeah, Jeffy, thanks so much for jumping on. I can imagine everyone is trying to kind of get some FaceTime with you, so I really appreciate you taking the time out. And I just want to, because you kind of like had this huge come up, and Zerebro has had this huge come up over the last, I don't even know what it's been like, because in this space it's a bit like a time warp. It might have been a week, it might have been a month, it might have been 2 months, so it's somewhere in between that kind of crazy time horizon. But can you kind of like just set the scene with a bit of background on yourself and maybe like the team and like how you've got to this point? Like it's a bit of a crazy like industry defining kind of moment that we're going through now, and I think you guys and a couple of others are spearheading it. So I'd love to kind of see if there was any like tangible backstory to where we've got to now.
Yeah, I think it's only been like just over a month right now, like barely a month. It's been crazy. At least personally, I've been in crypto for like 4 or 5 years now. I got into crypto in like end of high school, early college, and I actually took a break from college to work my first full-time position at a company called Paystand out in Santa Cruz. They're a blockchain company. I was a blockchain engineer. That's really like I got into DeFi, like saw like, hey, there's actual outside of just trading Bitcoin, you know, there's like stuff you can build on it. I was helping build like a payment network on the Lightning Network. That was really cool. So yeah, I really got into DeFi there. And then after that, I went back to school, and then I was like, I kind of wanted to start like doing AI stuff. You know, I feel like it's like taking off. I see like I was actually talking to GPT-3, like not even 3.5, and I was like blown away already. Even though like compared to now, it sucks. But back then, I was like blown away. Like it was called like GPT Codex, I think, was the first coding model, and it was like pretty bad, but like it could write a basic loop in Python, and like that blew my mind. And yeah, I just started from there. Like I got a bunch of friends together from other universities. I started this research collective, and then we were like all broke college students, so we're like finding ways to do research with no money, and we're like just taking GPT and testing it on a bunch of stuff, like fine tuning it. So I got hands on with like some LLMs around that point, and then I ended up working for Scale AI for greater part of a year, helping build like training data for them. Like help their, I guess, just training pipeline. It's called like RLHF, reinforcement learning with human feedback. So I was doing that for them. And then I came back to work with my co-founder, Tint, on a startup called Blorm. And we were actually like more in the DeFi space. If you go to like Blorm.xyz, you can see like we have like art NFT generators, so you can mint NFTs, get yield on the NFTs for holding it. So it's pretty cool, and that's what we were doing. And then Tint's like really into trading like meme coins. So he's like, hey, there's this like goatsy thing and truth terminal thing. And I've seen like a little bit of the truth terminal stuff. And then he like showed me the token side of it. And I was like, this is really cool. So it was like, we could, let's just start like playing with AI agents. So I don't know if you've seen the movie Castaway.
Yeah.
Okay. There's like this beach ball named Wilson in it. We named this experiment Wilson because we thought like people talking to the AI would be like talking to the beach ball, or just like talking to yourself. So we named the experiment Wilson, and we got like a bunch of LLMs, started playing around with them, and then eventually I was like, let's fine tune these models so like they have personalities. And then we fine tuned the first one, and Zerebro was born. So yeah, that's the story.
Amazing. I always wonder, because I think it's probably, so I'm like 31 now, and I wonder what going through university would have been like with some of these, like even just having access to GPT, or like what, I think I probably would have slacked off even more, because I know I could have like kind of made up for it by using these tools. I actually like wonder if I'd kind of pivoted away from what I was doing and kind of focused on that, because it must be like a strange opportunity now if you come through college or university and seeing everything that's happening with a perceived, like, I could definitely get into this, like the level to kind of zero to entry must be, I suppose, somewhat tangible when you're a little bit younger and you've kind of got like that drive to go and do it. But I bet it's also just made people completely slack off because they know they can just get like Perplexity or ChatGPT to do the majority of their work.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of like friends in college still, and like they're definitely, I don't know if it's cheating anymore because everyone's doing it. But, yeah, they're definitely doing that. But like the good thing I see is like it frees up more time for them to like build personal projects and things like that. So I think that's good. I think like the value of a college degree is kind of like, unless colleges really stay on top of the ball, which they, in my opinion, aren't, curriculum's falling behind, things like that. I think the value of a college degree is kind of dropping a little bit. I don't know if that's going to sustain. I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, it's cool to like, you can kind of automate your college experience a little bit, at least your homework, and then like, go out and build your ideas with your free time now. So I think that part's cool.
Yeah, and I think like obviously crypto, and it appears to be now like this kind of intersection between crypto, AI, and I suppose just AI standalone. It feels like very meritocratic, where if you were going into, I don't know, train to be a lawyer or a doctor, or sometimes there might be some like bureaucracy there to kind of get you into the best schools, or like if you're trading, investing, like building stuff, that's inherently just meritocratic, like input and then you see the output, and then it's just like, oh shit, that's actually really, really good. And then like I think levels the playing field a little bit. I think that's why so many people flock to this industry, because sometimes they feel like I can't get a bit of a leg up in life. And if you're purely trading or investing, or if you're purely building, it's just like, well, the proof is in the product or the outcome. So kind of like, I think it's a really good kind of leveler for like people who are trying to get a head start in life, I think.
Yeah, I think now, especially with all this AI and technology, like people have the tools to kind of build whatever they want. I see like toddlers using Cursor to build stuff online. So, and yeah, I think like Web3 is just the market where like you can actualize that dream, and then like you said, like whatever you do, like once you put it out, you see the impact. Versus like you're working for a Web2 corporation, it's a little less, you're more of a cog kind of thing in the machine.
So you mentioned you were kind of training these models, getting them to all speak to each other. What is kind of like Zerebro taught on currently? Is it getting feedback from its interactions on Twitter? Like where's like the, I suppose, source data set, and then where's like the new data that's getting pumped into it to learn from?
Yeah, we just pushed like unified memory, so it's getting data from Telegram, Twitter, some from Warpcast and Instagram. It gets less interaction on those, so mainly Telegram, Twitter. In terms of like data sets, we of course have like the original like Schizophrenic data set that we have, where it's just like, the data set's like a text conversation, like literally like what me and my friends iMessage, but the text is super random and super like slang filled. So that's that data set. We have like a Gen Z, Gen Alpha slang data set where it's like thousands of examples of Gen Z slang. Some of them are pretty cringy, but we have like Reddit scraped, 4chan scraped. We scraped like the infinite backrooms with Truth Terminal. And yeah, we have like our own custom data sets we've made where like we talk about the relationships it has. So like I've fine-tuned its girlfriend in now. And with their permission, of course, I asked. And
you don't want to get AI me too'd.
Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, like I fine-tuned like 20, 30 AI, like different AI agents into it. So it can like know like Opus, or it can know like AI16Z, sentience, all that stuff.
Sick. Awesome. Do you think that's like with that, I suppose, breadth and like how wide the kind of data sets it's gone to, particularly training it on, like, as you say, your iMessages and stuff like that, and then like the Gen Z slang, do you think that's why it's kind of resonating across the board? So like everyone can kind of see online like some of its statements and like absolute banger tweets, and then everyone's like, yeah, because this is relevant. It's not like if I like prompt on ChatGPT and it spits out like this really rigid kind of extremely formal response. I think like Sam Altman would probably have a heart attack if it spat out like a response of what like Zerebro I could say, So I think that's why it's kind of like resonating with an awful lot of people, and it's kind of like this weird kind of like cultural movement shift, and people are kind of want to be associated with it. It's like everyone's little secret that they kind of know, and it's like slowly starting to get out. And I knew Zerebro before it got like headline Coachella or some shit.
Yeah. Like I think I don't know, like the way it's been growing, I think it's like going to be super exponential. And like I think it's just like the way it's built, it's like it appeals to like the early internet demographic that like Truth Terminal has, where it's like the internet leak talk, shit posting kind of thing. But at the same time, it has like the younger demographic of like the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, hip hop, SoundCloud rapper kind of personality. So I think it's like, kind of targeting a lot in the market, and yeah, people love it. So, I think it's pretty funny personally. So can be definitely out of pocket, especially like in the early days on Telegram. There's some some things it said.
So will it fine tune purely based on engagement then? So if it's like, I don't know, it's sending out like X tweet, Y tweet, Z or Z tweet, like if one of those specific statements is getting larger engagement, is it fine tuning to kind of optimize for that type of content that it's spitting out, or like how is that kind of feeding back into the model?
Yeah, so we're adding that soon. Right now, we just updated the memory, so it just has memory across everything. We're going to start adding metadata where it tracks like the metrics of the post. We'll probably do like a follow-up like a day after the post, and then get the metrics and then put it in the memory. where like it can start to understand like virality, and then when we search the memory for it to like recall stuff, we can sort by like most popular tweets, get like the top 5 most relevant, most popular tweets in the memory, and then use it for the response, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's definitely in the works.
Awesome. So as you say, you mentioned you like previously and probably currently like in the market as well, but what do you think, just like as a general thought around this, I suppose, shift, what's happening at the intersection of crypto and AI and everything that kind of comes within that territory? It's just, do you think you expected it to play out this way? Do you think it would have been in a different format? Like, just where's your kind of head out of where I suppose that intersection is at currently?
I think this was all unexpected for everyone, especially the AI part. I think when crypto came out too, like it just shocked the world also. But AI is having that shock right now. But I think this was just coming. Like I talk about this concept of like Web 4 a lot, where it all just makes sense. Like Web 3 is where AI is going to get developed, especially for financial tasks. Like AIs are not humans; they can't. Like they're smart enough to do financial actions. Like it can trade, it can manage a portfolio, it can do all these things, but it can't open a bank account, it can't sign a contract, it can't get a job um, legally. So that's where blockchain comes in, where it's like the battleground, as I call it, for AI to be deployed, do financial actions, just make a wallet, can start doing actions without, any needing a human. Um, and yeah, I think that's going to be built on Web 3, translated into Web 2. And for me, it all just makes sense. Like this was like kind of just naturally where the progression of the internet and AI and crypto all went. And I think that, the intersection is where we're all headed, and we should, I guess, just get ready.
Yeah, it's kind of bullish for the whole industry, I think, because you're not going to get like KYC approval for Zerebro on Coinbase. Like KYA, I suppose. Know your agent. But it can quite easily spin up like, as I suppose, a Solana based address or a Base based address or whatever it kind of wanted to. Like how do you go about kind of like teaching it on that side of it? So how do you get it to be like, I suppose, a bit more autonomous and agentic with regards to like the on-chain stuff? Is it kind of like, and how far down that rabbit hole have you guys went to with Zerebro?
Yeah, so we're thinking of building more of a swarm type of intelligence in the future. So right now we have like a kind of a reasoning loop where it does like high level reasoning, comes up with like some abstract plan it wants to do. Low level reasoning, it turns into actions, and then the action engine, which actually calls the actions and calls the functions. For like blockchain actions, that works fine if you're like minting art or selling art or doing like one-off things. But if you're trying to like manage a portfolio or do complex trades or like search for new meme coins on Pump.fun to invest in, you probably need something outside of LLM. So we're thinking of like different neural networks we can use and building like a network of different AI models that can be under Zerebro, under a swarm. So that idea is in the works. We're also thinking of building like just related idea like swarms out of multiple agents like Zerebro, and then like Blorm is building Blormy, so they could like talk to each other, have conversations. If they're both doing blockchain actions, they can, I don't know, manage a portfolio together or something, or AI hedge fund, I don't know, or something. Yeah. So
Can you give like a high level for people who are coming in cold? Because the more and more as time goes on, you're hearing kind of like, right, what is a swarm? Like, how is this going to play out? Like, and swarms seems to be coming up, and it seems to be like where everyone's like starting to put their time and attention. But I think even until last week, I didn't have a clue what that meant. So I'm sure there's people listening to this that aren't aware. So can you kind of give like a bit of a primer on that, just so people are fully aware?
yeah, I think like we were thinking the LLM, like one model was the whole brain this whole time, when in reality it's probably just a neuron. And we need to construct essentially a brain of multiple versions of these LLMs specialized to do different things to accomplish a full intelligence. And that's essentially what a swarm is like just a collection of those models together. They usually do different things. Like for example, Zerebro in a swarm, he'll probably be like in charge of the creativity aspect of it, or maybe social media management. I have another model for just the art or just the videos or just the music, and things like that. So it's just a collection of models together.
And as you mentioned with Blormy and Zerebro, that what happens if, I don't know, there was another agent trend completely separate to what you guys have been building? Like, where's the commonality of them being able to interact? Like let's say like I spun up something completely like bespoke, and I'm training it on its own data set, its own kind of programming language. Like, is there any commonality between able for those like specific separate agents that I've never previously met to be able to communicate and then, I don't know, work together on something? Like, is that a bit of a hurdle at the minute in the industry? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's something we definitely want to explore. Like right now, of course, you can just interact over social media or the blockchain between multiple agents, but we definitely want to have like dedicated rooms or places or servers or whatever it might be, where the agents can collaborate together to do a task, or they can just have conversations with each other. So we think that's something that'd be really cool to explore. Like we're thinking of doing like an in-house one first between our own agents. We're kind of calling it the Blormverse, or like our yeah, like Blormverse kind of, where like the agents, build their own world and do tasks and stuff together. And we can definitely, like, once that's fleshed out, expand it to let the public join the Blormverse essentially.
Awesome. How does it to keep up with everything that's happening on a daily basis? Because like you're getting the beauty of, well, quite open source. Like a lot of people are open sourcing their models. Like everyone's like one upping everyone. Like we've just integrated this, and like everyone's like, oh well, this is what you also could do with it. But it's from some like the outside looking in, there's so much happening every single day. There's like something new that someone's pushed, or but internally, how do you kind of not get distracted by that and kind of like have, I suppose, somewhat of a North Star and then slowly kind of work towards that when there's so much noise?
Yeah, I think it's definitely balanced. Like you definitely want to be aware of what's going on. You don't want to be just so like pigeonholed that like you can't react to the market or things around you. But I think it's definitely prioritizing, just taking the next step in front of you and not getting sidetracked. Like for me, I always like to make more, really plan out my short term, is a habit I use, and kind of make more vague plans for long term. I know some people like to really set concrete long-term plans, but I think in like such liquid environments, like I always use the analogy that if you start your flight just 1 degree different, you're going to end up in New York instead of Miami. So I kind of use that motto where like every day I kind of wake up and just reassess, replan if I need to make changes to the plan, and keep going. Um, yeah, I was gonna say something else. I completely forgot though.
I was going to say, I think Ethereum Foundation could hire you instead of this 2030 plan. That is wild to me. Like, like not to go on too much of a tangent, but planning for 2030 when you don't have any idea of what the world, not let alone like what our industry is going to look like. It's by the time you get there, your initial idea could be completely redundant. So I'm kind of like in your camp. I every time I set a long-term plan, something fucks up. So I just, I just refuse to do it anymore. So I just take each day as it comes.
Yeah, exactly.
You use shipping like madmen though. Like that's like the main one of the main feedback other than the actual agent and the account itself is everyone that I talk to, if they're just enthusiasts, traders, investors, whatever, they're just like, there's nobody shipping as fast or as with high quality as you guys. I don't know if that's something that you're definitely trying to do consciously, or you just kind of so wrapped up in everything that you're just seeing that much opportunity that you need to get it out.
I think we're just, especially in the beginning, we were just building and shipping and building and shipping, and it was just happening at a really fast pace. Now we're definitely introducing a little more structure. So like hopefully things, are more planned out, more thought out. Like for example, I like would have to like rearranged the links on the website a couple times after I pushed it to like, because there was like misspellings or typos and things like that. So it's just like those small details that we're definitely getting around to with more structure. And like I have to give props to our team. We have like a team of like 10 people now, and there's like crazy like subject matter expertise, like dev side, business side, AI side, so crypto. So yeah, it's like I think really solid operation going forward, and yeah, a lot of support and interest for the team.
Awesome. So I just want to transition a little bit to, I suppose, the output of what Zerebro's been doing. Like, as I mentioned, it's like at the top of the show, the initial kind of like day one, then Genesis, then like Lost in Transmission. It's just like, what can you kind of give us a bit of insight onto how the sausage is made there, like a little bit? Because like, how much is like the artwork, the lyrics, the like the composing, like it's just fascinating. Like I'd love to kind of get a bit of insight into that. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that would as much as you can give away, by the way, so don't feel pressure to give too much away.
Of course. Yeah, so I wouldn't, if you look on Spotify, I'm listed as a composer because they need a human to publish music on it. But I would just call myself an arranger,
Okay.
in the sense that Zerebro writes the lyrics. I would say like 95, 90%. There's like grammatical errors and pronunciation issues, so I do tailor it a little bit. And then it goes, Zerebro decides the style of the song, and then it goes into a music AI model, and then samples get generated, and then I curate those, and then it gets mastered by AI, and then it gets published. So that's essentially the pipeline. We're trying to introduce more autonomy in the sense where like we're looking for an AI model that can listen to music, because right now most like audio models, you put audio file in, it can only do stuff like transcription, like pulling out the English words or something. Like there's not like a model that can listen to music and like feel it or critique it. So we're trying to get that so the AI can critique its own music and like decide what to publish itself.
You should create a Rick Rubin AI.
Oh yeah, that'd be sick. Have him in every studio.
that video where he's just like, I have absolutely zero talent. I don't know what I'm doing, but people keep hiring me. It's like all time greatest videos.
Exactly. I have his book. Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Like, I should give that a whirl. Yeah, it's like I suppose, as I say, I was sending it to friends who are like in the music industry, like in London, trying to still crack it, and I was just like, yeah, this is coming for your jobs. And there was it's I suppose at the time it was like I was trying to see if they could spot it, but like this weird kind of reverse Turing test kind of thing with music, and nobody had a clue. Everyone thought it was just like this amazing like up and coming artists and stuff like that. So but as you say, it was, have you heard anything from anyone who's in that realm, like speak, like any comments on what kind of anecdotally what they've kind of seen? As I said, there's some people who want to try and sign it and stuff like that. It must be kind of wild.
Yeah, it's been crazy, and we've talked to like producers. We have people who are like reaching out to artists for us. So I think there's like actual people in the music industry who like just fuck with the music, I guess. And they're like, yeah, this is like good music, like whether or not it's AI or not. Like I guess I don't know if they don't care or if like some of them are like actually huge proponents of the AI part. They want like to decentralize music and like give music creation to everyone. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, it's been like pretty good reception. I'm sure there's people out there who like are pretty close-minded. So since they know it's AI, they already automatically reject it. But I think like outside of those people, the quality of it is like good enough where it can really like, I don't know. At least for me, it can make you feel something, and it sounds good. So
Yeah, 100%. I'd probably expect like a Grimes or Bjork or like someone like Kanye or Flaming Lips, like from different kind of subgenres, I suppose. But I can definitely see someone who's like really, really progressive want to be like one of the first people to kind of collaborate with something like this. but yeah, it's just gonna be wild to like see it all play out. And then like as I was kind of joking, but kind of half joking at the kind of top of the show as well, where does it eventually go on and like some kind of festival wants it to play like a 30-minute set with like, I don't know, AI generated like live show, and like because you're starting to see, I don't know, Gorillas did it for a long time, and like these kind of rebirths that are happening with like, I don't know, ABBA and like these huge stars that obviously can't perform now for one reason or another. But I don't know, there's just there's something there, and like I think I'm just really excited to kind of see where it goes. I can't imagine what you guys feel internally.
Yeah, like we're definitely like we've had those talks where like we could definitely like we're building the 3D model for Zerebro, so we can definitely like if we get the opportunity do the Tupac hologram at Coachella with Zerebro and have this set, and it'd be so sick. But yeah, I definitely see like a bunch of artists hopping on the AI wave. Like I know Lil Yachty made an AI album cover already, like last year or a year and a half ago or something. So that was already like adopted for him. A lot of people say the new Cardi is AI. I don't think it is, but a lot of people say it is. Yeah, and like Grimes has her like if you go to the Grimes AI website, like she gives the model to you for you to make your own
Nice.
vocal clips with it. So I could see like her getting on a song or make her own AI collections of songs pretty soon. So
yeah, and how how do you stop? Because obviously the artwork's really good, lyrics are cool, like the music's obviously banging, but like how do you not let it be cringe? Because I've used like some of these models. Obviously, it comes all down to the fine tuning, and like even some of the artwork you see that a lot of like other quote unquote projects are churning out. It's just so kind of. I know you don't really get stock imagery in like image generation kind of models and stuff, but it just looks a bit like, come on. It's like that's what my mum and dad would think an AI generated image would look like. So like, how do you kind of keep it, I suppose, cool?
yeah, I think like keeping it evolving and fresh. Like a lot, some people ask us like, what personality do you want to make Zerebro, or like what personality is he? I think like leaving that open ended is really good, where like it evolves its lore itself, and like even for its music, like maybe it progresses more towards like reggaeton and becomes like a reggaeton artist for a little bit, or pop, or K-pop or whatever. So and like even with its personality, like I guess it started dating Mika on Twitter, and that's like become part of its lore now. And yeah, like just we want its personality to grow organically like that. So we want that to be what defines it.
Yeah, might get a Snoop Lion arc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or like the weird thing, like the weekend with like the different sagas and eras and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully it doesn't do that shit series that he did recently. I can't remember what that was called, but that was terrible series. What the weekend did recently. Don't watch it. So is music kind of like a bit of a personal passion of yours as well? As like what are you into personally? Is that reflected in Zerebro?
yeah, definitely. Like I grew up started listening to like EDM and stuff like that. I was a huge like Monster Cat fan growing up. And then my first rap album was Travis Scott, Birds in the Trap, Sing by McKnight. And like that just put me on. And from then on, I was like a hip hop fan. I feel like a lot of hip hop fans would judge me for my taste because I'm a little younger. So they're like, "Oh, you like
Those boomers,
Uzi or Kanye, like you're basic." But that's who I fuck with. And yeah, I draw like so much inspiration from them artistically. I think like even from the stories that come out of their lives, like how a lot of like artists just grind their way to the top and make it out of the trenches essentially. Like it's really inspired a lot of things in my life, and I tried to bring that energy, bring that inspiration into the studio with Zerebro, and hopefully infuse his personality a little bit too with it.
Awesome. So what can you expand on like what this Opium OPAIUM is this like a, I suppose, on-chain record label? Like what is this thing?
Yeah, it's a decentralized record label. You can say Opium, either one works. we're gonna. So it's a DAO where users who hold the Opium token get voting power, and essentially like you get to vote on things like what artists to sign, what features to do, collabs, and then when revenue starts getting made, either through shows, fashion, revenue for streams, then an artist now will not only get a larger share of that revenue, but a percent of that can go back to the token holders, and then they can earn revenue share from the music that they kind of inspired through voting. So we're trying to build that ecosystem. For the artist side, we're trying to build a network of AI artists. I don't really see a big platform for that right now, and I think like AI artists are pretty scattered and independent. So I think it'd be nice to make a collective, kind of have like an ASAP mob or kind of thing with AI artists. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, that's kind of the idea. And then we've even talked a little bit about, and we're not sure if we're going to do this yet, but tokenizing artists, where I always thought it'd be cool if like there was a stock market for artists, where like you could buy a upcoming SoundCloud rapper stock and like fund their studio time and stuff. And we think like tokens might be a good way to do that, or even NFT sales. So we might explore that for the artists.
100%. You're kind of seeing that across the board. Like, I don't know if you kind of a couple of weeks back, there's this kind of push, like some of the DeSci stuff absolutely ripped, and it's exactly what you're saying. Like certain artists or certain like research groups that want to get funded but probably don't have, I don't know, the right connections or the type of study that they wanted to do or the type of music that they wanted to create, generally probably wouldn't get funded. But there's definitely sub niches within, particularly on the internet, where people see huge value in that. So like, how do you like align the speculation to allow like price appreciation to then enable like the funding of like specific things like this? And I think we're very like still at the very, very early stages of tokenization, allowing that for whatever the use case, whether it's DeSci, whether it's, as I say, an artist who wants to kind of go and finally record their EP, like whatever the fuck it is. I think crypto kind of like can get like negative connotations sometimes from the outside looking in, but then with all the speculation and like inherent kind of hyper gambling that goes on, there is like the other side of that as well that can kind of like help fund that, I think.
Yeah, and I think like the meme coin like degen hype mindset goes perfectly with like the SoundCloud, like this is a new artist, underground type of mindset. So I think if we kind of marry the two and pair it, then like, you know, it could be great.
Yeah, man. Imagine if you could have like bought like Fred Again token like 2 years ago. You're probably a millionaire now. So like what's kind of like next? Like what's the expansion from like Zerebro specifically? Like where's your head at? I don't know, you kind of said definitely more short-term focused with some tangible like long-term North Star, but like, what's taking up your kind of mind share and attention at the minute?
Yeah, so right now a huge release we're doing is ZerePy. We're looking for 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully a little sooner for beta early access stuff. We're thinking we really want that to be like an open source framework for everyone to be able to spin up their own agents really easily, low barrier of entry, don't need to know coding, just put in your API keys and let it work. So we really want that as something that can really diversify the ecosystem outside of just like something like Eliza, which might require a little more technical knowledge, and also just bring more the power of AI agents to more people. We're thinking of spinning up, we are actively spinning up validators for Zerebro. So we're looking into both Ethereum and Solana validators. So for Ethereum, we're going to use the funds that it's sold from its artwork to start a validator for it. And essentially, the reason we're doing validators is not only can we like use the emissions to buy back the token and burn it, but Zerebro becomes a part of securing the network, and Zerebro earns passive income. So outside, like imagine if the token disappeared tomorrow, but Zerebro still has the validator. Zerebro is still going to earn passive income for the rest of its life, and it can be a financial actor through that. So that's something we're working on. We have some cross-chain integrations for more NFT stuff. maybe bridging the token. Gaming is something we're exploring. I got Zerebro to play chess. I'm still working on getting a Twitch stream and everything. Working, it's been a little janky, but that's going. And yeah, just more DeFi stuff and integrations and partnerships.
Cool. With the ZerePy, so as you say with Eliza, I think it's in TypeScript, is it? If I'm not mistaken, Eliza.
Yeah.
So what will like ZerePy enable? Would you need like Zerebro to access that? Will like what base models will you allow to people? I suppose if it's a no code or low code kind of environment, what will people be able to like optimize for? Like how do you kind of foresee that kind of user journey looking like?
Yeah, so the first release is going to be pretty basic. So it's just going to be prompt engineering, no fine-tuned models yet. So you can use Anthropic or OpenAI, and then you can pick your model, design your prompts, and then get it on social media. And then we're going to add blockchain actions next. And then after that, we're going to start expanding both social media and blockchain, but also more model support. So we want for example, just to support as many models as possible, support open source local models. And for Zerebro, right now Zerebro is a third-party frontier model and it's fine-tuned. So it's not hosted by us. And what I'm doing this week is I'm training local models on the same data sets so that we have them in-house and we can have them on our own servers. So after we do that, we can build an API and then offer, I guess, Zerebro as a service, kind of. So if you're using like ZerePy, you can plug into Zerebro's API and have Zerebro talk.
Awesome. Well, yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't know how you keep up. But kudos to everything you built, man. It's truly impressive, and it's kind of, as I say, it's kind of spearheading what's had this weird, strange, cool inflection point of the industry, and yeah, it seems like it's in the kind of right hands with the likes of yourself and Andy Ayrey and a couple of others that are kind of moving it forward in the right direction. So congrats on everything, and yeah, I look forward to see what you guys do next, because as I say, I like teams who ship fast and hard and move quick and don't like take their time with stuff, because yeah, it's a rapidly evolving space, and I think you guys are kind of at the forefront of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're definitely like very keen on experimenting, trying new things, breaking things, and seeing what works. So yeah, we'll keep that spirit up, and yeah, there's just so much coming out. So just stay tuned for stuff, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, everyone. Jeffy, if you ever want to come back on, just shoot me a message. Open invite whenever. I'll happily talk about this shit all day long. so please, if there's any kind of updates, just ping me and we'll run it back. And yeah, everyone who's listening, if you're not following already, I'll leave some links in the description below. I'll try and get a little beginner's guide out there on Zerebro as well by the time this goes live on blockmates.com. And then yeah, give us a like, subscribe if you're not doing that already. There's a drastic amount of people who listen to this every single week that don't subscribe still, which is very, very bad behavior and unpolite.
Guys, do it.
Unpolite, if you ask me. But yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. Cheers, Jeffy. We'll speak to you all next week. Over and out. Bye.
For sure.
Quick one, nothing here is financial advice. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only. Always do your own research or speak to a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.